This video will look at the filtration of blood and the formation of urine. For the human body to maintain a stable environment and homeostasis, toxic waste products must be removed and the mineral composition, the water and pH balance must be sustained. This is the role of the kidneys. Every day the kidney filters approximately 200 litres of blood to create just 1 to 2 litres of urine, and each kidney has over 1 million nephrons. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney, responsible for filtering the blood and maintaining electrolyte and water balance. There are two main parts to the nephron: the renal capsule, also called the Bowman's capsule, and the renal tubule. The renal capsule is located in the renal cortex of the kidney, while the tubule is in both the renal cortex and medulla regions of the kidney. To create urine, the nephrons work through a three-step process. It's glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion. The renal capsule contains a network of capillaries called the glomerulus. It has fenestrated or porous capillaries, which lets the fluid and waste products pass through it, but it prevents the cells and large molecules such as proteins from passing. This step is called glomerular filtration. The rate at which the fluid is filtered is called the glomerular filtration rate, and this is a measure of kidney function. In healthy adults, it ranges between 105 and 120 millilitres per minute. The collected fluid or filtrate contains water, sodium, chloride, potassium and bicarbonate ions, glucose, amino acids, urea and creatine. This filtrate then moves from the renal capsule and passes through the tubule. The renal tubule consists of three parts, and they are the proximal convoluted tubule, the nephron loop, also called the loop of Henle, which has an ascending and descending limb, and the distal convoluted tubule. It's in the tubule that the needed minerals and 99% of the filtered water moves back to the bloodstream. This step is called tubular reabsorption, and it happens via osmosis, diffusion and active transport. In the proximal convoluted tubule, 100% of the glucose and amino acids are reabsorbed, almost all the bicarbonate ions, 65% of water, sodium and potassium, and 50% of the chloride ions are reabsorbed. In the nephron loop, in the descending limb, 35% of the chloride ions, 20 to 30% of the sodium and potassium, and 10 to 20% of the bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed, and 15% water. Variable amounts of calcium and magnesium are reabsorbed. The ascending limb is impermeable to water, however ions are still reabsorbed via active transporters. And in the early distal convoluted tubule, 10 to 15% water, 5% sodium and chlorine, and again variable amounts of calcium are reabsorbed. And in the late distal tubule, just small adjustments are made. The final step is tubular secretion, and is the process of moving substance from the blood into the filtrate. Like tubule reabsorption, it occurs along the renal tubule and collecting duct. From a capillary bed of peritubular capillaries and vas directa, selected substances such as hydrogen ions, phosphate and potassium ions, urea and creatine are secreted into the filtrate. It is also here that adjustments of hydrogen, bicarbonate and phosphate ions are made to maintain blood pH. As fluid moves through the tubules and into the collecting ducts, waste materials and excessive ions are secreted from the blood. This step is called tubular secretion. The final product becomes urine and drains into the minor, major and renal pelvises, and then via the ureter to the urinary bladder for storage and to be later excreted. Our kidneys filter all our blood around 20 times each day. The functional unit of the kidney is the nephron, and it is through a three-step process of filtration, reabsorption and secretion the blood is filtered, homeostasis is maintained, and urine is formed.